Hi guys, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm braving it back behind the camera. I haven't filmed for ages, I keep leaving it too long, but I'm hoping to get a little bit of mojo back today because this is quite an easy, fun, casual little video. This is the Freedom Fragrance tag, which was set up and created by Claire from the channel Smurfy Girly, and she tagged all of her bean sprayers. I figured this is a good opportunity to just get back on the horse. I've got a little, or maybe a large glass of whiskey and coke next to me for a bit of Dutch courage. I'm sorry about the lighting. I broke my lamp, and that was the only offering of light I've ever had on this little shady corner. So we're just going to make do with a salt lamp and a candle. And for all my Lord of the Rings fans out there, how beautiful is this candle? My niece bought me this for Christmas. It's a beautiful thing. So opportunity to light that for the first time. Thanks Claire for this fun little tag. So Claire's asked us 10 questions. I've included an honourable question as number 11, which she also did, but I've changed it. I hope you don't mind, Claire. 10 questions about freedom, going out, and what fragrances we would pick. Right, so jumping into the first question. What fragrance would I wear for a quiet night in the pub with my fella? Now that is something I do miss. There's not many things I miss on this list. I've got to be honest, I'm very much a home hermit. That's just me. But I love going to the pub with the fella. Some really beautiful pubs this side of Surrey. We were kind of in the country a bit here. It's beautiful country pubs. So this is about the night. This is about a night in the pub. Nice, cosy, quiet night in the pub. I've chosen two. Actually, I've chosen two for many of the questions. I hope that's not cheating too much. So one is based on a cold night. The other one's based on a more summery, warm evening. So start with a warm evening, because that's going to be coming round first by the time the pub's open anyway, we hope. So I've gone with one from Versace, and this is Colle Noir. God, the lighting is so bad, I'm so sorry. This is a coconut fragrance. I generally don't like coconut fragrances. They generally, to me, smell too tropical in a more obvious sun cream, or just a bit, yeah, I don't know, they're not my vibe, I suppose. But this is a coconut fragrance that I happen to really, really love. I like it because it's spicy and more evening appropriate. It's not typically, you know, tropical and daytime. And what I think I love the most about this is the cardamom. Cardamom is such a lovely spice in fragrance. It's warming, it's cozy, it's not too spicy, if you know what I mean, like not too nose tingly spicy. It's more warm and quite creamy as well. It's very aromatic, and it pairs beautifully with the coconut in here. And there's also gardenia, and there is a really lovely, pretty white floral aspect to this. Despite my many fragrances and my fickle nature with fragrance, I never get bored of this. I can open the lid and I can sniff it, and I close my eyes every time and think what a beautiful one this is, and beautiful and spicy and sexy and perfect for a lovely night in the pub in a, you know, warmer weather. So that is the Versace Colle Noir. So my second choice for a more cold evening, I have chosen Tayfe Rose by Tioni Rainfield Natural Parfums. Oh my god, excuse me for a moment while I just inhale. It's stunning, and what I love about this, why I was drawn to this so much, is the depth and the complexities that I get from this fragrance. Because in a nutshell, this comes across quite patchouli-y. It's a very patchouli style, but there's no patchouli in this. It's just the notes, how they play together, come together like a very deep, dark roasted patchouli. But I don't like patchouli generally, so why do I love this? Well, that depth, the way the rose kind of mingles with other notes. The rose isn't necessarily heavy in here. Even though it's called Tayfe Rose and it's Oud Absolute, it's not a big rosy fragrance. It just isn't. The key player here, I think, is that Mysore sandalwood, that delicious, beautiful, rich sandalwood. It smells like roasted marzipan, roasted deep dark marzipan. There's a sort of slight sharp minty quality in here. I don't know where that's coming from. You've got styrax. There's also labdanum. So labdanum is that thick, brown, gooey resin, which obviously is playing a massive part in here because it is thick and brown and rich and deep. It's so cozy. It's a very thick scent. Every time I smell this, I always picture this big, lush, velvety, dark brown rose, where each petal is a slightly different shade. Maybe one could be velvet, maybe one could be satin, different texture, but each petal is rich and deep and slightly different in its scent. Oh, yeah, that's kind of what I get from this. It's divine. It really is. And it's a beautiful scent to wear on a cold night out in the pub with my significant other. So that is Tayfe Rainfield Natural Parfums Rose Tayfe, or Tayfe Rose. Okay, so I've just found the flash does actually work when you film in here, but I don't know if it's a nice light. Does that flood everything else out like before? There you go. It's like a nice soft mood light, but it really is pitch black because it's pathetically dark. I can't do that. No, let's just stick with this. With it. Question 2. A busy night out in a pub. Okay, I picked 2 again. And I've gone with Oud Satin Mood. I think the fingerprints are going to be terrible in this lighting. Oud Satin Mood. Okay, and also Tobacco Rose. And this isn't particularly weather or temperature dependent here. These are just 2 that I would always go back and forth trying to decide what I want to wear whenever I go to a pub, because they're both my 2 significant evening out, you know, that finishing touch when you've dressed up and you want to feel really lovely. And these always will be the 2 that I will consider that give me confidence. This is Tobacco Rose by Papillon Artisan Perfumes. A savoury, balmy, slightly animalic, mossy, divine opulent rose created by Liz Moores. Scott over at the Scenturion did a fantastic review on this fragrance. Definitely check out his video. It was beautiful. And this is one that he actually really enjoys as well. It's got this sort of damp sharpness from that moss. And I believe there's a Hay Absolute in here as well. And obviously this beautiful velvety Rose Absolute. All these notes play together to give you this sort of idea of a tobacco style rose. It's also beeswax in here. Gives you that kind of dry sweetness, that honey waxy sweetness. But it all plays together so beautifully. It smells organic, you know. There's nothing synthetic in here. It smells like a fresh, rich, mossy tobacco rose, but organic somehow. It's a stunning one. So that is Tobacco Rose. And then the other one, which is of course the Oud Satin Mood by Maison Francis Kurkdjian, always covered in fingerprints, but you know, what can you do? This is rich, it's sweet, it's unusual, and it really grabs attention. I love the violet that plays with the rose in here. I love that violet touch, slightly powdery, slightly, you know, whimsical. It gives it that whimsical edge. The oud is quite, I hear people say that it's not noticeable. I think it is. Well, it depends on where your nose is in your fragrance journey. If you're used to ouds, perhaps it isn't noticeable, but for me, I've always found it quite sharp and quite medicinal, but it is the perfect balance for the amount of sweetness. That oud grabs your attention. You then notice this beautiful Turkish Delight rose, very sweet and very velvety. And actually, velvety is what I think of. I think of this velvety rose, this dark blue velvety rose when I smell this. Question number 3. Casual lunch or coffee with friends. I know it's a bit cliche, but it's just too damn beautiful. And I think it would enhance the coffee situation, you know. So, of course, that's Intense Cafe by Montal. And it's so damn lovely, this. Any excuse to wear this, and I probably will, because it's addictive. It is a coffee latte. It's a lovely milky frothy latte with rose syrup. The rose is so beautiful in here. It is so addictive. The coffee is beautiful in the beginning, but it doesn't last particularly well. It does subside, and you're left with this beautiful rosy vanilla fragrance. Very, very similar fragrance to Rose's Vanille, but obviously you've got more of a creaminess in here and more of a coffee influence, I suppose. But yeah, this is a beautiful, obvious choice for a coffee out with friends. And then a lunch with friends, casual lunch with friends. I've gone for another rose fragrance here, and I've actually been wearing this a lot lately. I've really been enjoying it. This is by Guerlain, and this is the Rose Barbare from the Arts and Materials collection. So this is very elegant. It's quite mature. I think I'm allowed to say it's quite mature. It's a waxy rose with a bit of honey. It's not a sweet rose fragrance. It's not sweet. But it's so well balanced. Gorgeous marshmallowy vanilla. There's something so elegant and creamy about the vanillas that are in a lot of these fragrances. And this has got that quality as well. But it's mostly this waxy rose that's still very soft and very elegant. Even though the rose is quite waxy and dry in here, there's a real twinkling brightness that balances that out, and it's the aldehydes that do that. And aldehydes can be very hit and miss with me, very headache inducing, but in here they balance the waxiness out. It's very put together. So yeah, it's a lovely elegant rose for, you know, like a casual lunch or something like that. So that's what I would choose. Rose Barbare by Golan. Question 4, lunch in an upscale setting. Okay, so we're having a much more plusher lunch, bit posher, not as casual. Gone for 2 fragrances again, and they are both rose. Surprise, surprise. So this is based really more on what time of the year it is. Whoops. Bollocks. So the first one I've chosen here by Christian Dior, Prive, is Colle Noir. I just love this fragrance so much. I can't wait to start wearing this one this year. It's just a very elegant, very watery, fruity rose, but it's just done beautifully, in my opinion. It's very bright and very fresh, but still so elegant and classy. I think there's lemon and there's raspberry, so it's slightly citric. It's fruity, pink, like it smells pink to me. Pink, raspberry, citric rose, slightly green touch to it, not a lot, just a nice balance of sweetness. It just smells really pretty, really elegant. And then my second choice is another rose, and it's one I think would work better in the winter, or the autumn and the winter. I feel like I need a fanfare or drum roll for this. This is Stella Absolute. I'm so lucky to have this. So Stella Eau de Parfum, the new formulation, is just nothing like it was. It's just a trickle of the beautiful rich rose that it was. And that original EDP was my signature for so many years. It's the benchmark rose fragrance for me. It's the one that I'd always measure everything else against. Claire Smurfy Girly asked me if I'd ever actually tried Stella Absolute, and I hadn't. I decided to go onto Google and actually Google it to find out more about it. Obviously it's discontinued, but lo and behold, there's one on eBay. So how could I pass that up? So technically this was a blind buy, because obviously the Absolute is its own fragrance. But the moment I got this, I'd opened the lid, sniffed it, I was back where I used to be with my old Stella. It is so much richer. Oh, it's like a plump version of what the EDP is now, basically. It's this rich, beautiful rose. The amber is richer, so it gives you that much more warming, opulent sensation, much more evening appropriate, how the other one used to be. You've still got a little bit of brightness from, I think it's mandarin. You've got that beautiful peony mingling with the rose. But overall, it's darker. It smells like a dark purple rose. It's a dark velvety, ambery rose with a bit of a fruity brightness in it, but it's so beautiful. So that is my choice, Stella Absolute. Question 5. A fragrance to wear to the zoo or animal park? And Claire was quite specific on this one. She's got a thing for goats. She loves goats. So she's looking forward to going to a goat park, basically. As for me, I'm around animals more than I am humans. So I'm very at home being around any kind of animal. So generally, I don't think fragrances and animals tend to go together. Animals are far more sensitive to scent. They pick up on it a lot more than we do. And a lot of my fragrances really are quite more reserved, probably for that reason. Animals are all about marking their territory, so if you were to approach one wearing a strong fragrance, don't be surprised if they might want to reassert their territory and possibly wee on you. It's just letting you know this is a possibility. However, this was an easy one for me to answer because there's a fragrance that I thought of straight away that I love wearing. It's a magical little fragrance and I really need to get a backup. This fragrance is called Faun. The creator of Faun is, of course, Thomas O'Brien, and Thomas is, of course, the splendiferous UK fragrance reviewer of the channel Ouch 110. So Faun is a fragrance I have absolutely fallen in love with. This is a white floral fragrance. Okay, it's lotus and it's jasmine. Animalic touches. It's got aromatic touches. And it reminds me of running in a meadow. I always say the same thing here. It puts me in mind of dry grasses, dry sort of flower heads and husks and just debris in the air. It's spicy. It's got a spicy dryness to it. Soapiness from, I believe, the Lotus, is that correct? It could even be the aldehydes bringing that soapy quality, but it's not strong. It's so beautifully blended, and I love how it makes me feel like I'm outdoors because it just smells natural. It smells clean. There's nothing skanky or dirty in here, but there is that dry, grassy, herbaceous quality that's very, very natural to me, and I find it uplifting and peaceful, but outdoorsy. So yeah, Faun is a lovely fragrance to wear in the company of animals. Okay, so question 6. What fragrance would I wear to an outdoor concert, gig or festival? Now, I love music. Like, I'm more of a pub band sort of person. Let's be honest, people at festivals and concerts, they're usually off their face, you know, inhaling or consuming God knows what. I was thinking, you know, festivals, concerts, patchouli, hippie. I don't know. That's just where my mind went. I don't really have that much patchouli, so let's just skip over patchouli. If I was at a concert, I would wear something really skanky and strong because it would keep people away from me. So I'm looking at all my ouds, thinking, what have I got that's kind of projecting and quite, you know, makes an impact. And I've landed on Fragrance du Bois Oud Violet Intense. It's not overly skanky. It's quite resinous. It's actually very opulent smelling, quite damp smelling in the opening. It's what I always said, it reminds me of a damp log or a tree stump or something, because it has a sort of mushroomy damp smell about it. I don't know. But what I love about this is that note of elemi, that resinous, lemony. It's a tree resin, and it's very, yeah, it's resinous. It's, you know, oily sort of smelling, but it's quite opulent as well. It doesn't have any violet listed, but there is occasionally that there's a soft facet in here. There's an oud and quite sharp resin, so you need that extra something. So when I'm standing there in my party of one, keep people away with oud, I can still feel nice knowing that there's something a little bit opulent, a little bit violet-y maybe. Weird choice. I don't know. I'm bumbling my way through the answer, to be honest with you, but I'm going to choose Oud Violet Intense by Fragrance du Bois. Question number 7. A fragrance for travelling. Planes, trains, automobiles, the whole shebang. Okay, so I'm the worst traveller. Years ago, travelling to Calais, France, with my mum, we were on a boat, and she told me that I actually achieved a shade of green. So that was quite an achievement, really. When you're feeling that rough, you don't know your head from your stomach. The last thing you want is a massive fragrance sensory overload. It's just the tipping point. It really is. So I have to be really careful when traveling. This is Prive. This is an aromatic, airy, peaceful fragrance. It's quite spicy and it's very aerated, but there's a beautiful note of rice in here. So it's an aromatic rice fragrance, and the rice note is very creamy. And I've always said it reminds me of a rice pudding cooking with a scent in the air, but there's lots of nutmeg. And although nutmeg isn't listed in here, I just smell nutmeg when I smell this, and nutmeg is such a lovely spice. It's such a comforting, edible spice, isn't it? And in here, that's what I get, a creamy rice pudding and nutmeg. But it's not a gourmand at all. This is just about it being an aromatic scent in the air. It's so peaceful, it's so uplifting, and it's so calming. Yeah, very airy, very clean, very zen-like, but also grounded. It's just balanced, I think that's what it is. It's just beautiful. So Prive is my travelling fragrance. Question 8. This is quite specific and quite interesting, actually. A fragrance for either ice skating or swimming. I'm going to skip on swimming because I'm not a swimmer. I'm just not a swimmer, okay? I love being in the water, but I can't swim very well. But ice skating, yes, love. I haven't done it for some years, but I used to love ice skating. I loved being on the ice. I loved gliding. And anyway, I've chosen a fragrance that I've been wearing a lot lately because it's been snowing, it's been freezing cold, and somehow this fragrance just, it catches that cold snap in the air. Another from Tayfe Rose Natural Parfums. This is Blue Lotus, and obviously this is a lotus-based fragrance. There's ylang-ylang in here, a touch of an exotic, a bit of an exotic, soft, creamy floral. But there's a really bright, like icy green quality. There's also this beautiful warm glow coming from that beautiful Mysore sandalwood that Tayfe uses. It's that special material that she has and uses so beautifully in her fragrances, like buttery sort of flow from within. But overall, there's this, like I say, this icy cold green and white quality to it, or even an icy blue quality to it. It reminds me of the ice, just this cold, crisp snap as you first smell it. It has that kind of oriental floral feeling, and it's also very magical to me. So I think this is a beautiful fragrance to wear for ice skating. So that's Blue Lotus by Tayfe Rose Natural Parfums. So question 9 is a fragrance for going to a farmer's market or a country fair, something like that. And I've chosen 2 fragrances again, so I'm cheating again, but they're both fragrances that have got more of a sort of fruity, focused feeling, both completely different. I was trying to think again about being outdoors, you know, something that mimics the outdoors slightly, but unusual, but enjoyable. But the first one is from the house of Nikolai, and I've chosen Angelys Pear. Why have I chosen this? I just think it's a lovely outdoory scent that's a little bit unusual. So Angelys Pear, I find this to be a bit of a sheep quality. It's not classed as a sheep, but because it is quite mossy and quite dry, it's just, that's how I would explain it so that you get an idea, because it's not a fruity sweet pear. It's dry and quite musky. But there's something addictive about that dry quality in here, and the balance of the pear. I don't know. I didn't like this when I first smelt it, but it's really grown on me, and I actually really enjoy the fact that it's a bit unusual. And I think that musky, outdoorsy quality and the fruit, just, I don't know, I think it'd be enjoyable at a farmer's market or a country fair. I don't know. That's what I've gone with for that one. My second choice, because I'm just being greedy, is a Parfums de Marly. So this is Meliora. I just love Meliora. I've got such a soft spot for this fragrance. Again, it is fruit focused. So this is all about the black currant and the berries, and there's cassis. I think there's red currant in here as well. This is quite an elegant, pretty scent, but it reminds me of picking berries, picking blackberries, picking wild berries. Just that feeling of berries and being outdoors, which is kind of what you might find at a farmer's market, you know. And I think it's a beautiful one that I would really enjoy wearing outdoors at a farmer's market. It's creamy. There's rose in here. There's a lovely vanilla note in here. I always imagine wearing a country dress. This scent suits someone in a country dress, frilly, flowery, and I can imagine wearing something like that to a country fair. Okay, so question 10. What fragrance would I wear out exploring the city, coastal towns, or the beach? It would be nice to actually go visiting coastal towns again. I do enjoy being next to the sea and being in that kind of shanty environment. You're thinking more of Brighton here, but there's that lovely bohemian artisan quality of people selling their various creations and things. Anyway, moving on. Fragrance. I've chosen a fragrance. When I look at it, I think it's bright, it's sunny, it's luminous, it's a spring in your step kind of fragrance, and it's also quite interesting. I've chosen one from the house of Luban, and this is called Kissmet. Now this gets compared to Shalimar. I'm not familiar with Shalimar. Kissmet is much more a modern take on Shalimar, from what I've heard anyway. This is very, like I say, very luminous. So it's a vanilla based fragrance, but it has a citric feel to it as well, also an animalic feel to it, kind of interesting and opulent, and also very bright and sunny at the same time. And whenever I wear this, I get a compliment, because it's unusual, and it all smells classic at the same time, you know. Luminous, citric, vanilla, animalic fragrance, and I think it's a beautiful one to put a spring in your step, to sort of brighten your day, make it more interesting and more memorable. And I'm really looking forward to wearing this. I actually associate this more with a sort of sunny autumn day. That's the kind of vibe I get from this fragrance. But I think it'd be beautiful to wear out when we're allowed to start, you know, going into shops and doing what we used to do. So I'm going to choose Kissmet for my coastal visitations fragrance. So that was the last official question, but I do have an honourable question as well. I've chosen to choose a fragrance based on meeting fragrance friends, for when I hope that one day we'll get together, meet up, have some drinks, and really, you know, nerd up our fragrance conversations even more than they kind of already are. So meeting up with fragrance friends, the pressure to wear a fragrance that actually has some sort of impact is huge. I have chosen a fragrance that's, of course, a rose-based fragrance. It'd have to be Rose by the house of Maison Lancôme, and it is Rose's Berberanza. Rose's Berberanza has become my standout rose fragrance. It projects, it gets noticed, and amongst everything I wear, I get to hear someone say, "Oh, you're wearing your lovely rose fragrance." Very, very sweet. It's very, very syrupy. It's thick. It's rich. It's incredibly decadent. There is a lovely note of pistachio in here, which is what makes it unique, which stops it being another typical sweet rose fruity fragrance. Reminds me of fruit punch, but the fruits are very overripe, so they're really sugary, sticky, and they're going into that boozy territory. And rum in this fragrance pushes them over the edge, so it is also very boozy as well. It's just a delicious jammy rose. It's confident, it's happy, it's bouncy, it's bright, and it would stand out while not trying to be too obnoxious. So that's what I would choose to meet all my fellow lovely fragrance enthusiasts and friends. So that completes this tag. I know all the bean sprayers have been tagged, so I'm going to choose a few people that I'd like to see do this. So the first person I'm going to tag is Joss Jane from Joss Jane channel. She's the queen of tag videos. Love to see what you choose for these questions. I'm going to tag Corrine from Olfactive Stories. Love her channel, such a lovely collection. She's got a lot of similar tastes to me, so it'd be just to see what she picks. I'm going to choose the lovely Angelys from Severus Fragrance channel. Angelys is our musical genius. If you don't know his channel, check him out. He is so creative, he's so talented, and with any luck he might make this tag into a musical number, so fingers crossed. And lastly, I'm going to tag B from Casually Fragrant. I love her channel, I've been watching her right from the beginning. She's got lovely taste in gourmand fragrances, sweet fragrances, and I love looking at all of her bottles in her lovely light box. She doesn't do many tag videos, but fingers crossed she'll fancy doing this one. But that ends the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm sorry it's so long. I'll leave you all there, guys. Thanks for joining me. Take care. See you soon. Over and out.